is giving hope to people and saving lives. Um, if you go on my website, hopealiveoutreach.org, you can go to the store. And this month, during the Christmas holidays, we have a special on the book. The book normally sells for $11.95, but you can get it for $8.95 plus shipping and handling. And I will also, God, opened up a door for me to have some brochures on drugs. Two of the main drugs that are being utilized in America today, no matter whether or not it's in the African American community or in the white community or in the Jewish community, two of the drugs are heroin and cocaine. Um, and cocaine many times in the street is being sold as crack. And the difference between crack and cocaine is that crack is already made up into like a stone. It's already it's coke cocaine that's been already cooked up and it is ready to smoke. Cocaine is in the powder form, but whether it's cocaine or whether or not it's crack, I have a brochure. It's entitled "The Truth About Crack" that I will send to you, give to you if you order the book this month. It's also a little booklet on the truth about prescription drug use. Prescription drug use, a lot of times, is the gateway drug for an individual to become addicted. Also, I have another brochure on the truth about alcohol. Alcohol is the most widely used drug in America. I'm going to repeat that. Alcohol is the most widely used drug in America. However, it is not promoted as being a drug because it is so profitable to individuals, especially in the African American community. We have individuals, in the African American community, we have more liquor stores and bars per capita than in any other community. And in those bars and those liquor stores, also we're selling cigarettes. Nicotine is killing our people. I also have a brochure on marijuana, the truth about marijuana, and also a brochure on the truth about heroin, and also we'll be giving you the truth about drugs. This is a you can down. This is a DVD on the truth about drugs, and it says on the back, "Reach them before drugs do." My daddy used to say, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." My mission is not only to get people off of drugs, but more importantly, to prevent people from ever starting. We have individuals here in St. Petersburg, Florida, 8 and 9 years old, who are runners for drugs in the African American community. I started using drugs at the age of 10. I started, and my first drug was a nicotine. It was a cigarette, and the reason why I used it was because my father smoked, and I picked up his cigarettes, in the house. Many individuals who are addicts and alcoholics start off on the path in their home because their mother was an alcoholic or their father used drugs, and the kid found the drugs, or they knew where mama kept her stash of alcohol. And so my mission is not only to get people off of drugs, but to stop people from ever even becoming addicted. Because when an individual is addicted, addiction is no more than obsessive and compulsive behavior. And any individual, I don't care whether or not you're in jail or whether or not you go to Yale, from the White House to the outhouse, you can become addicted once you start taking a mind or mood altering chemical. I don't care whether or not it is prescribed, or whether or not you buy it from the dope man on the corner, or whether or not you buy 5 pack of cigarettes, or Pall Malls, Newports, whatever they are. Addiction is no more than obsessive and compulsive behavior, which means that an individual gets caught up into that and they don't know how to stop. They become physiologically predisposed.
How long were you addicted?
30 years. 30 years. 30 years. From 1958 was my first cigarette. Of course, addiction does not jump on you right away. Addiction slow walks you. Alcoholism, drug addiction does not get on you right away. You have to do it for a while before your system becomes addicted. It is a physiological need, but it is a spiritual. Uh, it's a spiritual problem which has a spiritual solution. Um, the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, 12-step programs, Alcoholics Anonymous, are 12-step programs for individuals who are alcoholics and addicts.
Is that how you got offered those two means? Were they helpful for you?
Extremely helpful. Once I went into treatment, for 28 days, and I found out that I was not a bad person. I found out that I suffered from the disease of addiction, and the disease of addiction is not only in the arena of drugs or alcohol. A person can become addicted to chewing gum. You can become addicted to shopping. You can become addicted to sex. To sex.
Things, yes.
You can become addicted to eating. I mean, they have Overeaters Anonymous. They have Cocaine Anonymous. You can become addicted to working. Addiction addresses an individual's psychological and spirituality.
Dr. May I ask you, what was a turning point in your life that where you came to the point where you said, "This is it," you know?
Enough is enough.
Right, exactly. Because with me, it was like shame, the shame I brought to my family, and that was the turning point for me. So,
well, my turning point was I know it had to be instituted by God, and the reason why I'm saying that is because being a pastor and using drugs, I couldn't talk to anybody else about that, and drinking uncontrollably. So my wife was the only person who knew that I was using, and this was before we had children. I was married for 7 years before my wife even knew I was using drugs. And so what happened was it got so bad in the end. My wife was, disturbed about it, but I had told her that if she ever told the bishop that I was using, I told her that I would kill her. Drugs will make you crazy. Drugs will make you out of your mind. In the 12-step program, the first step says we admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. But the second step approaches the spiritual aspect. The second step says we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, which means I was out of my mind, insane. And so what happened was my wife went against what I wanted to do. She had to love me to do what she did. So she orchestrated an intervention in my life, Brother John. That was the turning point in my life. On Friday, October the 13th, 1988, I was sitting at my kitchen table. And what I was doing was I had just bought this racehorse, this retired racehorse, and I was talking to this gentleman about putting fencing up around my property because I was starting to raise horses, and it was 9 o'clock on that Friday morning, and there was a knock at the door. I went to answer the door, and there stood my mother and my sister. I asked them why were they at my house this time in the morning, and I went to open the door to let them in. And before I could let them in, behind them came my best friend, my mother-in-law, two ministers, two elders in the United Methodist Church that was sent there by the bishop, and an Episcopal priest that I was going to for counseling. That day, they brought me in. They did an intervention on my life. And the intervention is when people come into your life unknowingly to you. They all let me know that they knew I was using drugs, and if I did the right thing, I could get help. I was mad, I was upset, but I was also glad because this was a release for me, and that's the day that I went into treatment. So that was the turning point in my life. And once I went into treatment, and I would suggest, one of the things I would suggest, especially in the African American community, and that is like Brother John, you are informing people about what's happening in prison because you know what's going on. I know what's happening as far as the drug arena is because I was involved in it for 30 years of my life and as an active participant. But now the flip side is for 32 years, I've been involved in the recovery, sobriety, spiritual aspect of it. And so therefore, the best thing I can do is educate people about what addiction is. Just because a person is a heroin addict or an alcoholic does not mean they are a bad person.
Okay.
And so,
one of the things you spoke about was intervention.
yes.
Okay. Do you believe that that's one of the things that kind of made me take a hard look at myself? I used to watch the program Intervention, and to see the harm that I really was causing, it kind of made me really think twice. I always say it once. I say, sometimes you have to get burned by the fire in order to feel the pain. But the hurt and pain is even worse when you realize the harm you cause unto others. So intervention, watching the program Intervention and seeing the harm that families went through, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, what have and just the harm that you cause unto them, not just one person, but their entire family, the kids and everybody. So
yeah, but I think
that kind of made me take a hard look at what my life.
Yeah, but Brother John, if I remember correctly, you said that you didn't like drugs, that you didn't become addicted to drugs themselves. Is that right?
Right, but I didn't become addicted to
the lifestyle.
But I was addicted to abusing drugs. I sold drugs. So
right, yeah,
to bring it to an end. And Dr. Basha, what we would like to do is bring you back. If your schedule allows, we'll do a part 2 next week because of the technical difficulties that we had, and we can talk about some other things.
Okay.
But we need to wrap the show up. I need to let you guys know that this show is being brought to you through the courtesy of Reader's Choice Bookstore. The owners are Tangela Murph-Bailey and Bobby Bailey, and we carry an array of African-American art, African attire, African children books, adult books, bestsellers, raw shea butter, black soap, Bibles, Bible covers, commentaries, Bible dictionaries, any kind of a church supply or church material, we have that. We have bestsellers such as Barack Obama's book, Our Promised Land. We have nonfiction, fiction, history books. We have it all. If we don't have it, we'll get it for you. Give us a call for your Christmas items, 727-409-4310. 727-409-4310 or 727-415-3459. Thank you, listening audience. We apologize for the technical difficulties that we've had during this show. Nagira and David, we'd like to have you all on again at our next show and perhaps try to open up for questions. Dr. Basha Jordan, thank you so much. It's been an immeasurable pleasure to have you here, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week, same time, same place. I'm Tangela Murph-Bailey, and
John Bailey.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.